all say the same.
You just wanted to show off
They
your
chasing the
suit.
fame. They all want the name. But they ain't got what's running through these veins. Make way for
How did you get the role of Black Panther? Was this something that you had to go in and audition for, or was it a case that the studio just instantly knew you were the right person for the job, and so they just grabbed you?
Come on, man! I don't audition anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a straight offer, and basically, let's face it, Black Panther is such an iconic character, and after just coming off of something else, I was reluctant to have to take on another iconic character. But as with all things, my mother and my children left me no choice.
Nice.
If I wanted to keep my invite to the barbecue, I had to take Black Panther. And it wasn't that I hadn't dreamed of ever doing it. It was just, there's the pressure and expectation, and I just didn't know if I was up for it again so soon. And after speaking to my family and just what it meant to all of my family, there was no way that I could not do it. Yes.
No, yeah, totally, for sure. I get that. And like you were just saying, like, Black Panther is such an iconic character. And like in the Marvel cinematic universe, like Chadwick Boseman really molded his portrayal of the character into someone that everyone can look up to, but especially people all across like Africa, including myself. I'm someone who's from North Africa. I was curious, does your portrayal of Black Panther pay any kind of homage to Chadwick Boseman's portrayal?
Hopefully, in the work and honesty I put into it. That was the thing about Chadwick's performance. It was so open, honest, and emotionally honest. And, I think all his performances are that way. So I really wanted to, I had to dive into the deep end. There's no sticking your toes in, and it's a daunting task it's funny, I would say any artist probably, you hope and wish for things when you start something, when you start a career. And then when they're presented to you, there is that fear and trepidation of not being good enough or not, and it's something to overcome. And it's something to, it's just testament, not just for me, for anyone who does this, in self-belief and belief in that if you do the work and you're emotionally available and honest about whatever comes up and being in the moment, that whatever you do, as long as you've really invested 100% of yourself, it can't ever be wrong. So hopefully that's what I brought to it.
That was extremely wise. So I can already see like the Black Panther kind of running through you. Like, I feel mega enlightened right now after that. When it comes to War for Wakanda, the thing that I liked about the Black Panther movie in particular was how it combined various African cultures together in order to create Wakanda. So I was curious, for Marvel's Avengers, did you also go down a similar path to create this version of Wakanda? Is this very much inspired by a variety of African cultures, or is this something that kind of just follows the source material a little bit more closely?
That's definitely an Evan question, yes.
Yeah, I can't speak for the art team and the design teams, but I will say, I think one of the big imperatives here was to create an iteration of Wakanda that felt distinct unto itself. So, obviously the movie and its visual interpretation of Wakanda has had such a huge impact on how people think about the character, but they want to go in a different direction, right? So one of the things that you'll see and hopefully feel in the game is that there's a different sense of Wakandan culture and history in this game, that gets expressed through the aesthetics. So one of the things they talked about was, an interweaving of Wakanda's technological advancement with the natural world, right? So like there's not this separation, that they try to find a balance of harmony and stuff. So in the visuals, that was something that the team strove for, and I think that they achieved. So, less a fusion of different African cultures like the movie did, which, I think there's great merit to that approach, right? Because the movie really does wind up being a project about, the Black diaspora across the world and what happens when you are disconnected from your history, right? Killmonger very much represents that. But, went in a different way with this game because you're pretty much inside Wakanda, and it's not that kind of a story. It's a story of outsiders coming to this place and what the impacts they can have are. So I think a different kind of aesthetic imperative with reasons that are rooted in the story that we're trying to tell.
Despite being different aesthetically, it still sounds like it's going to have a deep story behind it. Like you were saying with Killmonger in the Black Panther movie, there was how it was focusing on the inequalities that happen around the world.
Yeah.
Is that going to be a similar subject matter that gets tackled in War for Wakanda?
Well, I think, each superhero has what I like to think of as these notional cores, right? Like the nucleus of ideas that informs them, right? So like Superman is, it's a sun god allegory, it's a Jesus allegory, right? Like this persona from the skies comes, crashes on our planet, and teaches us how to embody the best of humanity. Batman is somebody who transmutes his own pain into altruism, right? His own suffering, his own loss. And I think Black Panther at its core, subconsciously is, I think it was subconscious subtext that then became text, is an anti-colonialist superhero, right? So, I think that thematic kind of element in his construction is very much a part of the story that we're telling here. Claw is coming to scavenge natural resources from that don't belong to him, from a place he is foreign to. That is actual history on the African continent that happened. And I think, again, like I said, it's always been a subtext of Black Panther stories. So I think there is a strong thematic pillar in that regard with this story in War for Wakanda.
You briefly mentioned Superman and Batman, and that's funny because I actually did want to talk about this with you, Christopher Judge, because this isn't your first rodeo being in something comic book related. You were also a mercenary in The Dark Knight Rises, so you've now bounced between both DC and Marvel. You've kind of just covered them both. So I gotta ask you, which one is your favorite between the two, between DC and Marvel?
First of all, Dean, you're trying to fuck with my man's money, but
I was just gonna say, who's writing the checks right now, right?
I do, but I gotta ask this. I'm curious.
That is the age-old conversation / argument / discussion, and I believe it's a individual take, and I believe that they're both great. It's just weird how, and this ties into, in a weird way, trying to fractionalize and marginalize this great fan base into making fans either be for one or the other.
Yeah.
Why not just be for both and revel in the great stories that are being told?
Yeah.
You know,
Totally.
it doesn't matter to me, frankly, what the label is. I judge everything on its own merits, whether
Yeah.
I feel it or not,
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I stand on that. We're living in nirvana. We're living in a place where we get to see all these great comics be brought to all these different mediums. If someone had said 30 years ago, hey, this comic will one day be a game, or one day it'll be a movie, or one day it'll be a TV show, be like, get the F out of here.
Yeah.
Now that we're living in that, why try to fractionalize either one or marginalize either one?
This is why he's a king.
Yeah, absolutely. You got it. I can see now why you didn't have to audition. You just grab him because you were already living that role. Kratos and T'Challa, they're obviously two very different people. But do you think they share any characteristics with one another?
Love.
Nice.
With Kratos, it's the love of his son and wanting his son to be better. T'Challa, love for his people, his history, his culture, its resources, the land, the blood. It is just two different love stories. But love is love, and love always wins.
God, honestly, I can't. This interview is just next level with everything that you're saying. Like, I'm gonna walk away just feeling high on life. I'm telling you that now. Okay, I know I've only got a few minutes left, so I'm gonna ask this one last question. What can you tell us about God of War 2? Anything. Go on.
Again, you trying to fuck with his money again, dude.
I've never heard of it.
Oh gosh, sorry. Yeah, okay, fair.
But I
Good
can
answer.
tell you, War for Wakanda is going to be fantastic. I can't tell you that. I can.
Nice.
And thankfully, there's not much longer to wait.
Yes, absolutely.
Vibranium doesn't belong to you!
You're right. Vibranium does not belong to me. It belongs to Wakanda.